for a matek daga Julie a program matin lautiano kuberichan watiki dano ma jun mukene mogo neno discussion ne I program mogo I second one will be in Acholi language. The topic today is Nobert Mo the father of MPs to vote president in quotation. In other words, the background or the history of MPs voting for president. Joel Matek, Professor Ochen, a word Luo, who is residing in diaspora, I request you to introduce yourself to the viewers. Mm. Well, uh, mm. Mm. Mm.
As you all know, that the first elections in Uganda through the Kiko in 1961, whereby there were elections that were done directly by Ugandans, the Wananchi. Then later, the members of the Lokiko elected the government, and that's how DP in 1961, under the leadership of Ben Chiwanuka, had the first kind of pre-independence government, whereby I think it was a small margin. I think they had like 44 and UPC had like 37, yeah, that kind of thing. So there were a few elections. So DP won briefly, 61, but Buganda had boycotted that election, okay?
Mm.
So they had to repeat in 1962.
So the Buganda boycotted the election?
Yeah, they boycotted
What?
because their demands, their requests were not given, green light. So they boycotted. The interest was that they elect their members through the Lokiko directly,
Mm.
guys like Ben Chiwanuka was opposed to that. So the Buganda boycotted. And that what kind of prompted, actually, you find in the second elections in 1962, you find that there were elections, DP again, and and DP, UPC, of course, again contested, and other parties, but UPC this time emerged victorious. Yeah, and they had a slight majority. I think at first DP had 37, then UPC 44. Then in addition, Kabaka Yeka team this time also participated. They joined UPC and formed the UPC KY Alliance. So they had a super majority, yeah, and they won in 1962. And that's how Uganda, on the 9th of October 1962, got independence. It was through, a parliamentary system whereby Ugandans voted for their MPs, and the MPs went in the House and elected Dr. Milton Obote as the Prime Minister first. Okay. And then later on, they elected Kabaka Mutesa as a ceremonious president. Then later also they elected Nadiobe, the king of Basoga, as the vice. Okay, ceremonious as well. Obote was the executive prime minister. Okay, that was in 1961. No, 62, then in 62, then 63, 64, 63, the election held where Kabaka was elected and the vice Nadiobe, the king of Basoga. Okay, then conflicts began to brew there again, 1964, because there was a provision in the constitution that was left that after some time there must be a referendum to determine about the lost counties of Banyoro. Okay, so Obote has the prime minister went and implemented, and of course Buganda was very mad. That's from where the UPC and Kabaka relationship began to become toxic. Okay, yeah. Then they went on. Yeah. Then of course you all know about the 1966, the 7, crisis, the UPC revolution. Yeah, whereby they abolished kingdoms. Okay. They abolished the kingdoms in 1967. And then from there, of course, the Kabaka fled exile, and the kingdoms were all abolished. Uganda became a republic. Okay. So from there, for some time, of course, UPC became like pretty much the dominant one-party, state for some time. And then they were having plans to have elections in 1970, I think 1972, was the end of the year. But unfortunately, UPC was overthrown before the elections. Okay, and this time UPC was having a kind of a model of elections whereby
So it's like three different regions, not sub-regions. That was too much. So that was the mission of the DPC. That was their tactic to try to abolish tribalism. I mean to say UPC.
it was cut short, And then, of course, in 1970, 71, there was moved to the left by UPC, the Dakivubo Declaration, one man's charter, of Obote, but they were cut short. They could not implement it. So 71, they were overthrown. Then, of course, in exile, they came back in 1979 when they overthrew Idi Amin. Then between 79 to 1980, there were like three governments. We had the first one, Luble was the president installed. He was elected in Moshi during the Moshi conference. Okay. When he came to Uganda, he wasn't being very patriotic, and he was overthrown. Okay. And then Binaisa came in.
Okay. Nisa.
Binaisa came.
Binaisa.
Geoffrey
Nisa.
Binaisa.
Okay.
Binaisa came in for a short while, like for maybe like 6 months, but he was also very insecure. He kind of he retired at Tokelo Lotwa. He retired to Tokelo Lotwa. He transferred with a gentle job to Algeria as ambassador. Went to remove Museveni from, I think, from defense to rehabilitation. So Museveni, Ojito Jok, and Lutwa, they overthrew Benaisa was overthrown. After a few months of overthrown. Then they install again what? They install, and actually Benaisa also was elected by also a caucus. Okay? Yeah, it was an interim government, also elected what? Elected Benaisa. Yes, as president. Then, of course, as the organizing elections, Paul Mwanga, the military commission, was the acting government, okay? Was the chairman. Paul Mwanga was the chairman, vice, Yoweri Museveni. Then there was Tito Kilo, there was Colonel Omaria, and Maruru. Those were the key members of the military commission that organized the 1980 elections, okay? Yeah, and the 1980 elections were actually also more of a parliamentary system, whereby UPC, DP, UPN, CP were the parties that played and took part in those elections. Okay, UPC led by Dr. Milton Obote, DP by Dr. Kawanga Semugore, CP by the late Mayanja Kanji, and UPN by Yoweri Museveni. Yeah, and of course, UPC, also from there emerge victorious. Yeah, others may have their own. Yeah, they have their own kind of claims, but they had the upper hand. They had the upper hand. The backing of Tanzania, like Zambia, and so on, and also they had a bunch of generals, the Lutwas, those of Little Jokes, and so on. Yeah, they had more advantage. But it was more of a parliamentary system. Okay, if my memories are not getting rusted, I would say that time I think it was UPC, UPM, and then CP, and from that result, I think UPC had UPC won. UPC had 75 seats out of the 126 seats. Okay, and then it was.
Okay, you can continue, but also a request maybe you can also highlight the representation of each party in parliament.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do that. Yeah, I will try and do that. And as I was saying that out of the 126 seats, UPC won 75 of the seats, and I know that UPM of Museveni had 1 seat, held by Kiyonga. Yeah, and then the rest were for DP. Yeah, so like from what I know that UPC had 75 seats and DP had 50. Okay, DP had 50, and then UPC had 75, and UPM of Museveni had 1. CP Mayanja Kanji had 0. had 0 seats, and also was in record that UPC was a little bit fortunate in the sense that was the only party that contested all the 126 constituencies, and I think they had like almost 20 unopposed or 15 unopposed areas, like in Lango, some parts of West Nile, unopposed. Okay, so that happened. Yeah, so that is the breakdown of but it was majorly done through members of parliament, so that to elect a president, that means you have to win from your constituency. Yeah, so like example, you find like in the old Gulu district, Otemale Madi was there. I think that was Otemale Madi had a landslide. Then there's Akena Pojok, that side of Atiak where had a landslide. Then we had people like, of course, also like Olanyolenge, Olanyolenge, that side of, like of Pade side there. That was, I think, that was actually west, I think, yeah, So in Acholi land, UPC had a landslide in Acholi land, landslide. In fact, it was almost man to man, woman to woman. It was over 75% of the votes 1980 went to UPC in Acholi land, that I can say. So, like from my own worldview, I would say the system that Mao is trying to suggest, trying to suggest, I wish that people should not look at it from emotional point of view. It's not a bad system. Both systems are good. They have their own pros and cons. Okay, you find that the presidential system is more, they call it the imperial presidential system. Okay, then you have the parliamentary system, which is mostly being embraced and practiced by most progressive Western countries, like Canada, US, Australia, UK, France, are using the parliamentary system, whereby the parties nominate the candidates, in different constituencies, and then they go to parliament. The individuals nominate their leaders, their presidential candidates, in members of parliament vote, just like Africa, South Africa, Botswana, even Namibia, the same kind of practice. Even India, the party with majority takes, it, and even gives in also opportunity for alliances, for alliances. Example, you assume in Uganda that, the different parties might find the challenge to take on General Yoweri Museveni as a candidate. Okay? But you can knock his knees at parliamentary levels. Okay? You assume, like constituencies. Okay? You go and field strong candidates against the other candidates. You assume in Kingdom women, you put a strong woman to check on a bed. Okay? You go to Achua, a strong man to lock down for what?
Then in Pade, we bring back Udokoto.
Yes. And that way, if the different parties can even cooperate and say, for example, in the central, loop and some part of Baganda, loop focuses there, okay, to crash the status quo, okay. Then maybe like in Lango, UPC focuses there, okay. Then some parts of maybe actually UPC and the FDC also focus there to to capture seats. West Nile the same, Eastern the same, based on strength-based approach. In that way, those with alternative voices can easily have even more a number of MPs, and if they go into parliament, they can form alliances, a coalition, and even lead sometimes. Okay, that is possible sometimes, but that's a theory. That's another theory I'm trying to throw out there. So people should not look at it that MPs can be compromised and what is true. MPs are corrupt, but I would think if we are to go that way, they should put in place a very tough law that in the first 3-4 years, if you go to parliament, if you try to switch sides, you leave the house, you're fired.
Well, my dear professor, I have drafted 7 questions.
Yes, go ahead.
Regarding this topic. Well, the first one is about democratic representation.
Yes.
I would request you to how would the decision for MPs to vote for the president ensure that the will of the general public is reflected?
Yes, thank you so much. And that's why I was saying that if we go and embrace the parliamentary system,
Mm,
then we have to build strong institutions, okay?
mm,
Strong parties, and whereby they should put in law even strong and strict laws that kind of checks on the members of parliament. For instance, if you go to in the house, you don't switch side for the
mm,
next
mm,
2 years until elections are done. Okay, if you switch, you see becomes vacant.
mm,
Okay, and two, if you go and disobey the position taken by your party, there should be severe consequences.
mm,
Okay, so those are checks and balances. Okay,
mm.
you put in strict, kind of conditions and laws that should check on the conducts of the members of parliament elected. If you're a UPC person, you're a DP, you have to subscribe to the party that sent you to parliament. Right now it's very loose. That's why you see that what the wishes and aspirations of the voters are not being honored and respected.
Well, now for the issue of Uganda,
Mhm.
would MPs be voting based on the interest of their constituencies, or could party loyalties and personal interest influence their choice?
Yeah, like Uganda with a very interesting standing. Is a completely a very corrupt system and culture in the country.
Mm,
That is, that is the problem. It's a very corrupt culture. Almost everybody is corrupt.
mm,
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Now the ethics, the ethical requirements that should be placed there to check on these members is the only way forward. But it's a very big challenge. Our people in Uganda love money.
mm,
A
mm.
person can switch side anyhow. Even the local voters themselves. A person can sacrifice their vote for just a bar of soap, or for salt, for sugar, you know, for a bappy, just a glass of,
Yes, that issue of
so
Abapi is also what brought my thinking of what about foreign policy, the foreigners. If like a country like UK or US wishes to
mm.
influence the election and have their choice, the president elected in their favor, it would be too easy for them to bribe the Ugandan MPs.
No, but true. That is
Yeah.
true. But I would say if there is maybe a country outside that has interest, like always in the outcome of our elections, there
Mm,
are many ways to influence.
mm,
Okay, like right now, you find there are countries like India who always support our ruling government. They inject money. Okay, and actually it's much easier to buy sometimes also our local voters,
mm,
and scare them off. Yeah, it's true. That's what I'm saying, like in modern societies, the parties are very, very well kind of founded and solid,
mm,
whereby there's party loyalty and discipline. Okay, it's a strong institutional building. When you are like, example, in Labour Party, yes, in the UK,
mm,
or the Conservative, you know where you stand. Or in the US, if you are the Conservative or you're a Democrat, you are there for a purpose, not for what, for liquid kind of money here and there.
mm,
In fact, sometimes even as a candidate, like in Canada, where I am, you
mm,
don't spend even a coin. People campaign for you using their resources, your party members.
mm.
So in Uganda, if there's external interest, either way, it can be influence. Either way. Yeah. But if you get strong if you get strong-willed representatives. It's impossible. For example, during the CA, we had a few but strong-willed members of CA. And like Ademola, the late, Atoma, the late C. Ogwal, Okuli Park, Ben Watcha, Omara Tugo, they were very, very, very firm.
And one of them who is still alive is the Chief Justice Windolo.
We went Doro.
Yeah.
They were there.
Yeah.
They were there. They never kind of, turned their backs. They knew what they wanted. So what I'm saying is, even right now, despite a lot of temptations that might come, on their way because of, money and other influences, if you get those who already are exposed, those who are principled, then they can stand the test of time to wither that. But it's a process, it's a journey. In theory, it's doable. It has been done elsewhere. Like even in South Africa, it's being done. In Namibia, it's being done. In Botswana, it's being done. It's doable. We even did it even before. We had it before in Uganda. In fact, the direct adult suffrage of the presidential system was introduced by Museveni. In Uganda, it wasn't there before.
So, in other words, the regime is resetting back to where they picked up Uganda.
Yes.
So Ugandans, in other words, should not complain.
Yeah. In fact, Dr. Milton Obote, Binaisa, Lulez were all elected by the parliament, not by the people directly. Okay. So, like the battles for presidential elections gets finished at the constituency level. Yes.
Now,
so if you feel strong,
now when we look at the point of transparency and accountability, I don't know. You will remind me if your time is running out.
Okay.
What mechanisms would be in place to ensure transparency in the voting process if MPs are to vote for the president, as the proposal suggests?
For transparency and accountability, like nowadays I see like even the debates are live, okay, on TV. Debates are live on TV, and I would then go further and say, if voting for the presidential should be live on TV, and also let it be by lining up, so that you know where MP votes. Yeah, yes. Because if I send you, if you pieces here, where are you going again? You go there. Raising hands.
I can't imagine the future ahead. How these MPs are going to be in hot soup.
Yeah. So either through raising hands or lining up, or whereby they call your name Brian, you stand up and say, I vote so and so. Roll call. You get up, announce, TV announce, of course, live. Okay, so that your voters know where you're voting. Okay. If you've sent you to go and vote here,
I think that is the best option for us to practice the transparency. And also on the other side, what about the concern of accountability? How can we ensure that MPs remain accountable to the people and not to personal or external influences or to the president voted?
In fact, that's what I'm saying, that this is just, a journey. It's, there should be, if there are reforms, they should institute very strict kind of, I would say, like practices in parliament, okay? Bylaws, okay? That for ethical requirements, whereby they also should make it much easy to recall a member of parliament. You understand? If you can go and collect signatures, certain number of signatures, should be processed as fast as possible. Right now, it's a very difficult process. They should make it more easy so that if you, kind of
mess up,
you don't toe the line of your electorates,
Mm.
then you're also vulnerable in their hands. You become more accountable. Okay, voting should be done in the open. They should also get the process of recalling, make it more, practical. Right now it's impractical. Right now, should make it more, practical and friendly.
Mm.
Okay, so that the ordinary voters can be able, to recall their members who are going against their will and aspirations when they're in the house. Yes, that is possible. Then also, you should make strong laws whereby maybe the first 2 3 years you don't kind of cross. If you cross, your party can lay request to recall you easily.
Vote,
Understand?
vote of no
Your
confidence.
VP, yes, recall you. Yes. So those things should be done so that that will bring in order. Yeah, because our people are very corrupt. They have no morals. They go in the house to just make money. They've turned parliament into a business. In the past they will take the best thinkers, the best debaters, but now if you go there, the quality of debate has downgraded, has deteriorated, because we vote money, we vote salt, sugar, that kind of thing. Yes. So if there are strong ethical, the do's and don'ts, if you're elected and you go contrary, then your goose is cooked, or your goose are cooked. Yeah.
Now I'm looking at kind of, I don't know the technical word I should use to ask this question. Now, would MPs voting for the president create a stronger alignment between the legislative and executive branches of the government? Between the legislative and executive branches of government, would it create a stronger alignment?
Because then that implies that the party that wins in parliament in the elections to elect the presidency will constitute the executive. Okay. And to some degree also, we also have a hand to appoint the chief justice and members of the judiciary. Yeah, correct? So that implies that the ruling party will have a hand, but still also they can be checked by the opposition. There can be checks and balances, advanced by the alternative voices and opposition in the house.
Well, now,
It's
now also, let's look at international comparison. You talked about samples of countries like South Africa having their system also, MPs voting for the president. Now, how do other countries that use parliamentary voting to elect the president ensure fairness and represent the will of the people? Yeah, how are they doing it? Examples, maybe in case you have samples of such countries. And then also,
yes, yeah. Example.
what lessons can be drawn from their experiences, both positive and negative, in case.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I have a few examples I can give. I'm going to give both some from the Western world where I am, and also some back around the continent. Okay, South Africa, for instance, the ANC began as a very strong party in 1990, and as you know, it has been steadily, downgrading itself. Okay, today as we speak, they cannot even form a national government. They have to go into a coalition with the DA, a former apartheid kind of pro-apartheid party. Yeah, they're in coalition. Okay, and if you follow South Africa, you find, like, for example, the EEF, the Economic Freedom Fighters of Malema. They've been very proactive in the house. Even they use even what overall to go and debate, presenting the workers. They always speak their minds. Okay, and you find even in the house, you find that even the president is very vulnerable. You find that in South Africa, all the presidents have not finished their terms. they've always been removed by parliament. Okay, despite the ruling party having the majority, because the different parties will unite, and maybe a few independent also ruling party MPs also join them and remove. No, so there's been a good kind of aspect for checks and balances in the house.
Now,
Okay,
do you think that aspect? Do you think that would mean, in the context of Uganda, maybe amending something that would require abolishing party caucus like NRM caucus?
They can have, like I know that EEF have their caucuses, and even ANC, they have their parliamentary sitting. They can agree, but the thing is, the other parties have been very vibrant, vocal, authentic in their things. They always get details, expose the president, and sometimes even the ruling party itself find itself ashamed and just release their leaders to go. Like Zuma was sacrificed by ANC, even a person like Mbeki had to go the same way. Mbeki, a person like, Zuma had to go, even Ramaphosa, I see almost going the same way. In fact, he's even more vulnerable right now because it's just, he has the minority MPs in the House and now is backing on the DA, another political party. Okay. So, it brings in more kind of checks and balance, it is discipline among the political class and entities, the parties. That helps, that's I say, in parliamentary system, political parties are very strong. Okay. Why? Because the members invest heavily, in their parties,
Now,
and they get the best of the best.
thank you so much. Last question is, what safeguards would be necessary to prevent our dear members of parliament from undue processes or undue activities like corruption or manipulation during such an important voting period? What safeguards would be in place so that we prevent such a kind of thing?
Yeah, thank you so much, Brian. I think the only way forward, to safeguard the interest, the wishes, the aspirations, and desires of the voters is by instituting strict and strong policies and laws, okay, that members must follow, okay, and they should make it even more friendly and possible for the voters to able to recall, okay, their representatives. And also, if you're a member of parliament and you've been seen trying to slat or trying to work to around with other parties that are not your own, against the will of your own party, then there should be consequences. You understand? Consequences. In that way, that will bring some kind of political hygiene, in the house and the country. The laws and the policies can bring some political hygiene that can address, the issues of, hyper corruption, and moral degradations that has kind of subconsumed our political class and leadership.
Now, when we look at Uganda, are we not going to head into a form of oligarchy, or where highlights have to dominate most of the things because they will lobby even constitutional amendments? They will lobby for it. They will try to influence and the rest of the things. So, as you summarize and draw your conclusion, what message do you have for the Acholi people or the Luo people, and also for the Ugandans at large, as we are going to head into this kind of period? I remember one of the most controversial period was when the issue of Toji Kwatako age limit debate. I think we are going to have something similar like that.
Yeah.
So, what message do you send to one to Acholi people and also to the rest of the Ugandans.
Okay, I will start with Ugandans, then
Mm,
I conclude with my own people.
mm.
Yes.
Well, that's
One,
amazing.
yes, because actually comes first.
Mm, mm,
Yes.
mm,
So I would say that to the rest of of my country people,
mm,
I think they should be open-minded and explore the parliamentary system. I think the imperial presidential system, is not very beneficial. In
mm,
fact, breeds dictatorship. Okay, and I think too, I want to tell Ugandans out there who are worried about this notion, about this concept
mm,
of parliamentary system that might, facilitate that easy kind of, cheating or compromising the process. That in a revolution, in any struggle, I want to tell you that, for example, if you want to kill a revolution among students at school,
mm,
universities,
mm,
close the colleges, close the schools, send them home. That is done. If you want to also, disarm and dismantle the working class, then don't give them salary, don't pay their wages. They will, they will collapse. Okay,
mm,
but the peasants,
mm,
the engine of any revolution, they can survive. Okay,
mm,
why? The peasants are the vanguard of any change, of
mm,
any struggle. They can feed themselves. They did nothing. They are they are independent. They can fishing, they can go hunting. They can cultivate and keep on fighting with their own things. While the elites who wear suits, when there are no ways to supply the suits and ties,
mm.
they give up. The students, the same. Working class, the same. So I would say the elites are nothing without the
The
hopoloi.
peasants.
Yeah, the hopoloi, the
Mm,
peasants. The
mm.
peasants are the engine
Could I
of
think
any
also
revolution. Yeah.
something different from this topic, but also related to what you're talking about. I think this could also explain why the developed countries are relatively stable in security than the low
Yes.
developed countries because in LDCs like in most African countries and uh, and South American countries, you get to realize that people are poor and they can easily jump to the street to demonstrate. They can easily
Yes.
go for war. They can join rebels because
Yes.
they don't
Yes.
have cars, they don't have investments, so they don't care about the bombs that will fly over their houses. It is only the rich who are few who will be thinking about the
Yes.
bombs flying.
Yes.
And I
So as
think
I was saying, in a
I think
revolution,
that's how
in a
UK
struggle,
and USA manage to
yes,
maintain stability.
yes,
Mm,
you are very right because the poor have nothing to lose.
mm,
They can go on the street and just do anything. They don't care about their lives. The
mm,
rich, they are very fearful. The elites, even in Uganda, you see the middle class don't even go on the street.
mm,
Okay, the middle class never go in Uganda on the street no, in the street on the street to demonstrate. Or the
mm,
rich never go. It's the peasants, the poor, those in the informal sector, the
mm,
one who go, who dare to get out. So that I'm saying that the peasants, those in the informal sector, are the powerhouse for any change. So they can check on the political class. If they become strong, they can even elect their own. You
mm,
understand?
mm,
That's why in pre-independence, you have places like the Uganda National Congress of Musazi,
mm,
whatever Lemadi, they were of workers, traders. You understand? These were traders
mm.
and farmers who formed the Uganda National Congress. Okay? And they were very, very, vibrant.
Mm, mm,
They
mm.
had nothing to lose. They were vibrant. Yeah. Also, your last question, piece of it, your last piece of the question about Acholi. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I want to say that, my appeal to the Acholi nation
I think that one is where you can bring the summary in Acholi language and also the message in Acholi language.
Okay.
Yeah.
Foi tek ma do mera.
Afoy vatai.
Atami foi kitumbora.
Mm.
Atami lukaha lupaju
Mm.
ma woho kimagang weng uyab wangu karamangich kuyubirutie ento yewa ubiru kilong Hirong madong on ending on gin chok 2026 on chok ngini ubit kwi ukwal kwi ibu biru ibu ngole ichago ngo chuna chago ngero wu chago mi ko projects chilling kono dien chago si o dien pa chulong en kina do ne ento katwere legana tieni pe uye chilling pe uye kon ta ngone o kwanda ma kwiri Cuma riek ma chungi tek ma chungi kaka ma lo ada naka wo chen kero chik e parliament nungo pe kaka birungo namba chiel e pira tek dok ben ko tungo o kwan dan ma teki ngech ma ko chere e ting e kilo rock as kero chik be tek wich ngech no no ma tek Bien ba lo ada gira tiko maningo ikin gay kin ikin pin inoni jomo kene do gi tek legi pit ilem du ento do ko chera ngo ar kero chik ikan pala kuja
Jami mogo.
o yo lego tara jim mogo ci ada o nen nga ma lo ki du ki lem du ento manungo ci ngej
Ne kwan ngej mi riyago.
ngej de anyoli ina nyoli rio mingo at kwan bere ite ki war joma wo ke kwa MP ma chero ma ka nyene ti mokora ti mokora ma kelo ngo nyero i church kum kaka ko nye peke ya kidong bere atamengo Acholi bengo watoro chingwa wa ripe kinwa ichawa ni watima rang mada
Matek.
inoni ngo ot te kwaro la wirudi gi gupokro gupokro pengi ngama ngano ruot mo don rem bore achana tia cham apier tia chich bukan te diere kenyu ana madana now ichawa inoni ngo Dr. Ambassador la tunu ki chief justice windoro ti yille ma tek mada
Matek. Actually, ana chawani function ka chiri chi Dr. Olartun, Professor Olartun Poberiye, onyo Chief Justice Windol Poberiye, no don't berjal function mapaji chamuriye, and no permit. Because what these people are doing, John, I think a good compare look pa Julio, but there are some people who are still taking it like these people are looking for popularity. John cargo level popularity. These people are doing the real work, man, not on the ground. Mamieta team.
No, la tunu work a wen window UN. Work a wen ufunyuka wen bire material professor. Dolo bere uchamo kutira I Roma papa. CA, MP, Minister, Chief Justice, a legal practitioner. Dakimirongo.
Don't call pa mer don't call
pa. Malengo, pikara, pilit pakara, rekara malengo. Ci ada kano Rudy no tiga tero quote ko la haro tono gine doloba no chero verify.
No chero
verify. Bangi pay bere pene an kagati. Gi pay bere. Gi pay. Ci an legana timbe ma ci Acholi mirmo watimo kija kinwa. Mirmo mara kinwa. Politique pok dan.
Politics who get
Very
time
party no
to
but yes, you know building on FDC, DP, and rogino per te ina chuli.
That is it.
Wa mare kinwa. Taba konye kinwa bere. Katu ya bengo ubiro teno kwan. Ka omiro tino miro ti ma ngo te kwano ina ti kero konye chul ichkulu ma per te. Lo teno miro kwan. We can ping. Education is very important. Kira teach. Kiripe. Palo tedero. Palo teda. Parudi. Chumi bie. Wing miro ngo waripe kinwa. Chia da na lena tiri ngo. MPs meron ti inba kole ki chairman gi ngo inba. Antama chuli ngo. Kiti KK. Kira KK yingo ma tek.
That means 2026 we are actually could be tech MPs.
Yes.
And could be tech not in terms of the expenditure, but in terms of yeko. Queer in terms of real annually, Kiriako me or kwan.
Yes. Pere ichane, dila tiro tu man ichane, inuningo, down yero siente.
Locom chene tema raj, ma tek ma peteme.
Raj mada. In fact, Gimara, na tam bengo, ka no ka parliament ngo, o kedi checking ngo, ke chere campaign kamye chente, ni kwenyo ki chumbe.
Then Kimarigo.
It be disqualified from standing. So actually, me legatini ngo, miru ngo bari buchingwa. Mi don paju, mi rocho ngo, paju pierte. Gan doba, oti maraj.
Gan doba maraj, mada.
Kaya yang bulu makaro nyo endomba. Chungu yaro. Mayang madon cha party. Ngom gicharo, will ke boda.
Will ba judge.
Ne ba judge. Ini kuwa ngo.
Yar kor mala.
Balalo kwanya aluba chulio. Unyang.
Pogo ngo wele yot.
Ngom alimia beach, ngom.
Ki wilo ngom kama diet no jo mu charni pay the real owners of the land, they are not the customer land. You're not put him agreeing, ina chela rio mo ni charo ngomo because ini mero smartphone. Because ini mero boda. Piani imero mera nyute bon nyogo ni mo ni town.
Yeah.
Ni share town ga nyute mar Nile mar bia yung edwerio chana tumbrat. Ere dogla ku nyo de du ngara konye peo.
Kenyo kere ino duo be chong kere yeme. Chia da dongba gang timaraj. Families bengo umegu kumegu. Lumegu bengo pege winye.
Actually, one more doing with the gang. It is not easy. Actually, the most difficult thing is actually minongolare mawi urwate. If you are still a right thinking actually youth, kibilogi kumima rach social media when ginma unity mu manu me mogiti sacrificing minano ne correcting dano minane konyo kara minane ngo kibilo all sorts of words is looking for cheap popularity enikete pianepe marco enikete maybe he's drinking responsible. There's a friend of mine mama wadugi campus uchungang kan ichi jalo porukui because kick-starting propaganda may komeni near nyata piana tiuru kote. Of course the guy pe kwani get kote ke come. And is a simple guy. Bill one more down bill era kote pe ake come. But ginu jalo porukui mere ki waye meri piana jale jenye ru kote.
Nego, ke kwan beraj. Ke smart beraj.
Everything is bad, dom.
Left and right. Right. Ke kwan right. Ka be biru kini right.
So those are the things, ma. Rochopaje program, Chief Justice Windolgen Professor Lartuno, take a time of sensitizing, but there is need for robust support. I pleaded last year with Wemia Parchel with our fellow bloggers and content creators in northern Uganda, and also the famous Luwe celebs. Now I need you look at other places when their people are in crisis. 1 or 2 posts is enough to change the mind of Joe Matieni. We have a lot of youths on social media. Social media chan don't know charo. Even if it is only one smartphone, even only not only will be talking about Grenada and smartphone. It can charo. Yeah, in the village style. So you realize me, I pleaded Alu Nying Jomokane Marung Pedalungan. The video is there, Martin. Nobody responded. Because we used to share the real videos of that WhatsApp and so on. And practice advocacy. I used to even try to move with some of the MPs. There was issue of Balolo, there was issue of Apalan. Nodding syndrome is there. Mama is somehow neglected. There's rampant matokon and some other fiscal policies, mono pretty favorable come Lufu me Labachuli. Now, I called for a joint campaign
meeting.
Mobiano me was only a par. The people I expected to join did not join. Most of the way, they think me it is maybe politics, but sometimes advocacy can be good politics. If it is for your people and you're talking the truth without propaganda, you know really pay. And it is very good. So in summary, I was supporting what you are saying, Professor Ni. Pay your society partially done. It is deroded. It is rotten. Bully. Don't know bully ma putamo pikachuli putamo ni enbere chuli don't tell. When I was at campus, it was worst. It was worst. Roger Pajo mir ko donyo campus. Dano dek muto ni era chuli. Tutwale ka de kar karoma. Especially nyera. Dano lo levanam. Kada tika tell association, you will suffer a lot. Emir dano yo miel te kwaro. Weke PM. Dano mana. Dano chera ponyo miel Uganda. Miel Basoga. Now muka yana wadu gang. Don't get a gang at right chani. And those are the things for Konyaki. So your route is very important.
Generational challenge. Example, my RTA Kalacha Makere, late 90s and then late 2000. Yeah, Julie Amsa. For the 4 years I was there. A bit number chain again. Competition, cultural competition that Julie Amsa culture. I think they tell you in the past we were winning number 1 Ken. My lord, and yeah, 21 year. In fact, 21 Dongato, we are same sport.
Because there was unity and love, Pikaha.
There was unity.
There's this propaganda more and some people calling themselves analysts. Those were saying they are trying to analyze the cause of China Lobachuli. One of it Maguka Rayani Ninyero, naturally Nyero. Then the second one, Tini disunity. But that was not something of our own. Because how can our ancestors develop 32 dances if they were disunited?
Yes.
I always like giving an example, Kunu, back to our root.
Yeah.
If these people were really not united, can no John Peg repair.
In fact, Brian, we take over 50 dances. Over 50. Not 32. Over 50. when you get a justice, will tell you knows more. When will tell you 50. So one actually, we are blessed. Traditional culture. Kakima no, I don't pin kidwa loada. Well rock, degwa.
It is only Zulu. Maki rating ni lowa, but John be rating Zulu because Zulu man you
because they're warriors.
Nudity.
Actually, Zulu pay maybe the Igbo
of Nigeria.
Yes, in terms of culture of dances in Nigeria. Zulu men pulling up Gero, Gero geti Luengi ene geti. They don't have many dances, Zulu. And Joming or Cha, Igbo, Jom Oyu Empire, Cha, Ghana. Yes. In other words. So actually, one ba, the Karabango, Makumbo Goom. Better, we can turn our suffering into an opportunity.
Exactly. That is what I've ever said on a program, Akero Makiloni live talks. But unfortunately, the podcast was not supported by most of the Chuli people. There was one of the quote from Bob Marley, Mama Wachubora Chule Yeni. Our greatest task right now is to turn our heart, what hurts us, into our greatest reputation. Because it is said the bigger the challenge, the bigger the success. You cannot say any when you solve a problem of maybe like maybe Jangyat Moto maybe you solved piano that in compound well. Then somebody who worked to do away flood from the compound. Between challenge and after completing, no success and then did. So since we are sinking in big problem, we can change it to be our greatest reputation.
We watch you jump carrying ka in particular moon chungwa la moon erang mo kana pe kwa ina moon dog ngo it be your dog ngo juice mamara charo there's much ngo you turn ngo lemon itu ngo a drink so turn your ngo you are kind of disorientations or your misfortune into your fortune
the predicaments.
Yes, it's doable. It's doable. But what we lack most in this generation is solidarity. Solidarity. Yeah. You know, down to war, down, you can pain. If find a person doesn't know, the war near you why Premier la pipa why PM la pera in it here. That is our biggest problem. But as we said in summary, actually, kui mati ineba uyek kui yo vol mabe. Donc no krik dana keke ko ying yo mate. Nen ngamanga. Kako yeru ye peo nen bandera. Nen kuire ye.
An individual person.
Yeah, keep down. Individual merit. Down Marokane. Mapili down. Mala what? Ma make it down. Ma win it down.
Mukane. Rutela Moguni cha Maki Pejagini go presenting their finding about Paupa Chuli. I was shocked in the regional parliamentary setting. Mogo ni Paupa Chuli Pere. Actually, they were struggling to look for Paupa Chuli.
Oh.
So,
you one wa yero dano ma ngo ma peget wer mo can you imagine pe actually that ngo ka indo ngo ni kumi inyang e wora kin ping do ke dog gang do ke big mo ni
Attack,
expose
mother, attack, and
they
that's
hit you
why,
with passion.
and that's the major problem that our finding, me and Lord Casimir Ngom, our finding shows me Joe Madung Polik Yelu Giloa diaspora community. Kagudu.
Digging no
And we have like 3 videos on our channel which talks about how the mistreatment of the diaspora community. Kagu time konyo down, sometimes misusing fund expectation is so high kumgi even jealousy doctor kumgi or even witchcraft sibere. So
yes,
we have
if
done
I war chelo ga ta be pe do it all will you
so we have done some small project here, but food will give Kikoyo because there are a lot of things. Mano Guru Chan
no je bu kere katie nia ana will support get your project man tit ma be mada mi yo phone ngich look bod lukaka magina pera te mon watching the communication is key.
It is key.
Okay, so any
communication is key, and also to the person who received it, information is nothing if you don't put it to use.
It's up to you. It's up to you.
Yeah.
Watching no, don't tell no di ifunu kamar pi. Ento no, pero di wigi ifunu kamar pi.
No.
Okay, so you give them information. It's upon them to go to sieve and take. You know. Chi lo da be example no we no ke lo telo com peace magang te me. Diaspora played a very big role. But no one talks about it.
And let's bring it in our next discussion. You compile the research.
Okay.
Compile the research. Let me take note.
Let's that be the next topic. We shall discuss a lot. Can you?
The roles of
Okay, take it time before I go. I have my next meeting. Yes.
It's okay. I think this comes to the end of our discussion. It has been a nice one, and I think ni luba yokili luba wanonge, and I think ni you are bene umegini matikunu. At times when your fellow Luremi like Charas Mogo, we can start having some sessions with them where we're contributing to issues concerning Uganda, issues concerning Africa, issues concerning Acholi land. Oh, the Luo.
Actually, my professors, my South Africa, can bring them in the future.
Exactly. Where the chak chwalo gini wa chak lok mati positive, so that we overpower the negative energy matiga be saturated online.
Any pen lock,
And then no. And for Jalichurni, I know.
And for Brian Nobert Matiri, he put my bag. Thank you so much for the good work you're doing, and stay blessed.
Kibor kuno in be medic teach my bag.
For your good night. For stay blessed. Bye.
Well, to our viewers, Joe Matika Nanwa, don't get discussion, and it was a discussion topic about if Nobert Mong should carry the blame, or if Nobert Mong is the father of MPs to vote for president in court. So, according to Professor Okelo Chen, who is actually working in Canada, is a lecturer, he has done a lot of work in Canada, a good person, we will bring his profile later. He said that thing existed in the regime of Bore. Museveni removed it, and now it is getting back. So, we have come to the end. He says there's no call for alarm, Twindan Pekopore. Afo in my tag my jala chewani naga ya giki konkuman ma ken bur in kur paliji. Until next time, bye bye.